Right. So hello again and welcome. And today I'm talking to Craig again. Welcome. And today Craig is going to share his own mental health journey.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to get straight to it.
Okay.
So what age did you develop psychosis? Because I know you've developed psychosis, but I know that you've also experienced other things.
Yeah.
Okay, so what age did you develop, let's just say, a mental health condition? And was there anything that you think may have triggered it?
I suffered with little bits of mental health difficulties, like when I was at school, like I think a lot of people do. But then,
as in what?
Just like not feeling great about myself,
right?
Feeling suicidal every now and again,
right?
Usual.
Just to the sort of development of sort of going through that transition of teenage years, or
yeah, more than anything else.
Right. Okay.
I was then working in retail, working lots of hours in retail, which then started off with depression, anxiety, and stress related to the job.
Related to the job.
Which then...
Because you were unhappy with the job, or was it more complicated than that?
Unhappy is probably the wrong word. I enjoyed the job, but everything around that was involved with the job, not so much.
Right. What, like the politics of the job, or
the politics of the job, being bullied,
right,
other bits and pieces,
right,
which eventually led on to developing psychosis.
So you had that just before psychosis?
Yeah. So it started off probably with the stress, which then led on to the depression and the anxiety.
Yeah.
Because of the stress.
Right.
Which then led on to the psychosis.
Right. Okay.
So they all sort of interlinked.
And I suppose when you sort of became under services, did they sort of like talk to you about that was probably the likely conclusion of how you developed psychosis, or have you come to that conclusion yourself?
More come to the conclusion myself. Like when I came under services, we did like a timeline of like my life, and that looked the most likely scenario where it's come from.
All right, that's interesting. Okay, then, so I mean, you mentioned depression and anxiety, but you know, psychosis can be so different for different people. So as you're sitting there, what were your symptoms that made you fall under the psychosis sort of bracket?
So my symptoms, I still hear voices every so often.
You still hear voices,
but it's nowhere near as bad as it was.
Yeah.
So that's dealable.
Okay.
I was seeing things.
Can I just ask a question about your voices? If you don't mind sharing.
Yeah.
Can you sort of say what the content of your voices, what they were sort of saying?
Now it's every so often they're degrading, or I say they're
putting you down.
Yeah, putting me down. But I've got to a point where I can now deal with that because of all the help that I've had. Yeah. And like all the things that I do to keep myself level is probably the best and the easiest way to describe it.
So just on the voices, start with the voices. So before that, you knew that you hear voices. Yeah. Like, what was that like? Do you know what I mean?
What was it?
Did you feel like somebody was just saying it to you, like that you couldn't see, or
when it first started, it sounded like I was hearing just people shouting at me. Yeah. But then it eventually got to a point where it's happening all the time. And then I realised at some point that it's obviously within me, not external.
Right. Yeah. Just because you couldn't see anybody?
Yeah. Yeah, to start with, were
you Googling it though? Like, you know what I mean? You had enough insight to kind of like think maybe that's what's going on.
Yeah, like the bullying and everything from the previous job probably led on to this as well. Yeah. Because that's all the same sort of things that I was getting in my job as what I was being told as well. Yeah. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Okay, and just out of interest, the voices that you hear now, or the voice that you hear now, is it the same content? Is it sort of just as it used to be, or
it's similar but different, which is weird. It's now like it's not all the time now. Like my name will be shouted at me, and I'm like what?
Right.
Every so often it's degrading, but
can you identify now what it is when you hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't get confused by it.
No.
You know, because is it a certain voice?
It's 99% of the time now. It's the same voice.
So you recognise the tone of that voice?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. So right. Because it's happened for so long, I'm now used to it.
Yeah.
I now understand that person, if we want to call it a person.
Do you give the person? Did you give the voice a name?
No, I haven't done.
No. Okay, I'm just intrigued.
No, I haven't.
Go on then. So the voice hearing.
Voice hearing. I've seen things.
What?
Don't really want to go into that.
That's
going to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. What can you? Okay. Can you? So I suppose just for anybody that you literally see things as if they're there.
Yeah. See things as you are seeing us now.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay. Yeah. I won't ask too much because there's another question that will link back to this. Okay. Yeah. So you're hearing voices, you're seeing things.
Yeah. And my other symptom was I felt like I was living in a game called The Sims. So The Sims is basically a game on computer console where you basically look after people in the game. You tell them what jobs they're doing, if they're going to clean the house, if they're going to shower.
Real life people?
No, not real life people.
Not like...
But in the game.
In the game.
But
characters in the game.
But characters in the game, yeah.
I just mean like real life for the game.
Yes, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, real life for the game, but not real life. But that's what my life felt like it was. Like I had an outside force controlling what I was doing when I was doing it.
So you felt like you was a character in the game?
Yes.
And people were telling you what you should be doing and your life should be?
Yeah.
All right.
I was getting controlling thoughts and messages through TV, radio, all sorts of different things.
Yeah. I've got quite intrigued by that because I've had some references from the TV and thinking songs are about me.
Yeah.
Just like, what do you think at the time? Like, because say for me, for example, it was just reinforcing a bit of a conspiracy against me.
Yeah, which then leads on to everything else that's going on, getting worse and worse and worse.
Right.
Like it started off like every so often, but then it got to the point where it was happening daily and lots of times a day. Like I'd watch a TV program and I'd think everything that's happened in that TV program is linked to something that I've done in the past week. And then I'd hear a song and I'd go, oh, that's happened to me as well recently. So I then think they're playing it for me to hear so that I know that what they're talking about, they can see I'm doing.
Yeah. And I'm just a little bit intrigued, like, so with psychosis, so people ain't necessarily always in psychosis, right? So say, for example, you're hearing voices, you're seeing things, references from TV and radio, the Sims game, but what percentage of your life, like how much did you dip in and out of that stuff?
When it was at its worst, it was happening to me 90 to 100% of the time. It was basically my entire life when it was really, really bad.
So I guess the point I was trying to, I guess, to sort of ask a question is like lots of people can sort of have psychosis but get on with their life to a certain degree, right? But I guess if you're in it all the time, it's going to be so obvious to maybe, do you know what I mean? If you're out and about, maybe. Or, I mean, we mask things. I know that we can...
I would have thought it would have been more obvious with everything that was going on with me than it was. But I obviously hid it better than I realised I did.
Yeah. You're just, like, suffering with that experience in silence a lot of the time? Yeah. I'd say it's crazy, but...
Literally.
I don't know if it's appropriate or not. Okay, I'm going to be on, because I know that I'm probably going to come back and I don't want to backtrack too much.
No.
Can you talk about Well, I suppose you tapped into it now. Sort of, can you talk about what that experience was like what those things were like to experience? So, I guess your world's changing, right?
Yeah.
You're experiencing all these things. There's something strange has happened to your life, and do you know what I mean? There's TV referencing you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's people somewhat controlling you. You're hearing these things, you're seeing these things. How are you, Craig, surviving amongst that? Like
honestly?
Yeah, absolutely, honestly.
Drugs and alcohol.
Yeah. And I relate to that.
It was
I'm
drugs
not
and
here to judge
alcohol.
you, absolutely.
No, I know.
Yeah.
It was drugs and alcohol. Honestly, if I hadn't been taking and drinking the amount I was, I don't know if I'd be here now.
Yeah.
Because that was what was keeping me sane.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah. No, I was the same. It was drinking drugs.
Yeah.
That were bringing me out of the hell that I was
of
in.
What's going on.
And that was what I refer to as like my normal. Do you know what I mean? But for me, it's like when I'm crashing.
Yeah.
I'm crashing.
Yeah.
And then everything's 10 times worse.
Yeah, and that's what you want to try and keep out of, and that's why you then take.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't
drink.
take it anymore. You have to get round and round. You go in a vicious circle, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. Thanks for that. So, what did you think about being told that you had developed psychosis? So, I guess professionally, you go under a team.
Yep.
They say, what you're experiencing is psychosis. We think what you're experiencing is psychosis. Was it relief? Was it?
It'd been going on for so long by the time I got under a team that I kind of knew that
How
there
long
was something.
It going on before you got under a team?
3-4 years at least.
Of what you would call psychosis?
Of psychosis for at least 3 years, I'd say.
So you just survived with it?
Yeah.
The best you could?
Yeah, so now 2023, so 2017 I was roughly under a service.
Can I ask then, because obviously by that point you've been struggling for a while.
Yeah.
What was the tipping point that made you seek the help?
Something that happened to a friend of mine that I don't really want to go into.
Okay, right, yeah. Anyway, where were we? We'll forget that point.
Yeah,
okay, fair enough. Yeah, just intrigued.
Where were we? What did you ask?
Sorry. I totally forgot what. So what do you think about having developed being told?
Being told about it. I kind of knew that there was something different anyway. I wasn't really sure what it was, but it was. When I came under the service, it was just then given a name, but I kind of knew there was something anyway, so I was just like, yeah, it's fine.
Was it like that makes sense, or?
Yeah, it made everything make a lot more sense because it then came under like an umbrella term that I could then say to people like, this is what's happening, rather than having to try and explain my symptoms to people.
Yeah.
Which can often be quite scary for people to hear.
I mean, I don't have it on the paper, but I'm intrigued because I've some experience myself. So, given the fact that you drink and drug to cope, so you're now under service or whatever. At what stage? Because my understanding is you don't take drugs anymore.
No, I don't.
No. So what was the turning point for that? I'd say you don't drink anymore, but you're sitting there with a glass of wine. So
I do still drink, but I now only drink weekends.
Yeah.
So whereas it used to be 7 days a week.
But so am I, by the way. We're not solo drinking. Right, okay. Yeah. So
again, don't really want to go into that.
Okay, fair enough. But you stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there was reasons why I stopped.
Yeah. And do you think that your mental health improved from stopping? So I guess you're just left with everything then, aren't you?
Not
right?
really, because I probably started drinking more.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to pry too deep into your stuff, but I'll move on. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, what was the treatment that you received when you came under service for your psychosis?
Yeah. So I received CBT, which is cognitive behavioural therapy.
Yes. For what? To treat what? The whole thing? Your relationship to your problems?
I would probably say my relationship to the things that were happening to me.
Yeah.
Because did it? I don't know. That's a good question. Good question. I'm not sure on the answer to that one.
But it was helpful?
Yeah, it was extremely helpful.
So I guess, did it make you explore all your beliefs and that?
Yeah, it made me explore what was going on, but it also helped with looking into my anxiety, my depression, my stress levels.
Yeah.
So it kind of covered all of them at once.
Yeah.
Which for me was really helpful.
Yeah.
Like I got help and support with going to groups, doing different things outside the house, which again was all really helpful.
Groups when you're under service? Or?
Yeah, groups when I was under service.
And that's helpful, or?
Yeah, it's helpful for me. I was taken to groups outside of service, which I joined as well.
Yeah.
Which was again helpful because it was getting me interact
what
with.
What sort of things
So,
were helpful? What sort of groups?
Going to men's craft, which is a group where you go along, play board games, chat.
Board games, alright.
Drink tea, coffee.
Yeah. So socialising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Socialising.
Yeah.
Which is something I had stopped doing unless I was drunk.
Yeah. So I guess, say like the groups that you attended in service.
Yeah.
So other people in service would.
Yeah, other people would go
through things as well.
Yeah, would be through similar things.
Supportive? Was that helpful?
I think it was more helpful than I realised it was at the time, because although I was in a room with people going through similar things to me, we didn't have to talk about those things. We could just be in a room with people knowing that they'd gone through a similar thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about the group outside of the service? Is it just, once again, is it socialising and connecting?
Yeah, socialising and meeting other people, which was something I was really struggling with.
Exactly. Yeah. So for your experiences, that took a massive decline.
Yeah.
And it was
building that back up,
building your confidence in those sort of situations again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about like medication and stuff like that?
I've been on antidepressants for a very long time now. Since about 2010, and I was on antipsychotics for about 4.5, 5 years.
So you're not on any anymore?
Not on antipsychotics, no. Antidepressants,
and nothing came back?
It never fully stopped, but it's not got as bad as it was. But I think that's with all the techniques and things that I did while I was under services has helped me to maintain that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. All right, well done. Okay. What was... Yeah, we kind of covered this one, but I don't want to backtrack, but just in case you've missed anything, what was the impact on your life of your symptoms? So I guess you talked a little bit about, you know what I mean, socially, obviously affected your job and stuff like that, and you were out of work, and you know, I'm sure that it took a massive knock on your confidence as well. But what about, like, you know, just sort of family life or friendship circles, or, do you know what I mean? Or romantic partners? I think I've got it somewhere down about while I'm on it.
It was hard to talk to my family because I wasn't really sure how to explain things to them. Yeah. And being on services did help with that.
Right. So they got involved with talking to your family, or?
No, but I asked them how I can explain things to them.
Yeah. How did they take it?
It could have been worse.
Yeah, yeah.
I
suppose it's actually a really sort of unusual thing for a family to go through, right? So if you haven't experienced it before, do you know what I mean?
How do you try and explain it?
How do you take that sort of thing? Because psychosis, to me, like, I've been around psychosis for a long time, so I'm sort of like, what do you call it, on conditions, but
yeah,
feels very
niche.
definite though, doesn't it? I've got psychosis. Does that feel like it could be a passing thing at all? Does it feel like, I don't know.
I think for me, I'm always going to live with it. I don't think it will go.
Right.
But that's just me personally.
Yeah.
Some people can have it, and then it will go.
Yeah. So
but
what
not
do
everyone.
you live with now? So what do
Just
you
the
manage?
voice.
The voices.
Yeah, just the voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is
but you
dealable
don't-
compared to everything else.
Exactly. But so you don't have any of the other experiences anymore, even though you're no antipsychotic. It's just not saying.
I'm trying to think now. I occasionally see stars in my eyes, but that's fine. And I can't think of a recent time where I've had controlling thoughts or messages.
Yeah, and you don't get anything off the TV anymore, nothing off the radio.
No.
Well, that's some turnaround. Continue on no antipsychotic as well,
Yeah.
and that. So, yeah, okay.
But I came off those while I was under services.
What
and they helped me do
made
that.
you decide that? Just out of interest. Given that you were still
They-
experiencing some
They
things.
thought I was ready, and
Really?
I didn't want to be on them
Yeah.
any longer than I had to be.
Right.
Because I put on shed load of weight from them.
Right. What was you on?
In the end, I was on olanzapine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Right.
that was my last one I was on.
Yeah, I suppose that is known for weight gain. But,
It is, yeah.
Okay, all right then. Thanks for that. What did your family? We dip into some of these as we talk. But what did your family and friends think? Did they say anything that helped or hindered your journey?
To start with, it was hard to try and explain what was going on because I didn't really know myself.
Uh-huh.
So they just thought I'd been an absolute pain in the ass
Right.
with everything that was going on.
Yeah.
Because I could hear things
Right.
that other people couldn't
Yeah.
see,
Uh-huh.
and they were like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
So you were saying, and then obviously they're not seeing or hearing what you're
No,
saying.
I didn't tell all of them to start
No.
with.
Uh-huh.
I told the ones that I thought would help me and would be able to help me. Not all of them did. That's why I'm not friends with them anymore.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Did you ask for their help?
I asked for help in lots of places. Didn't always get it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
And do you know why that is? So I mean,
I would say services can be sometimes far too stretched, so they find it difficult to help all the people that need help, I would say.
So are we talking about services? Or are we talking about friends here?
Services.
Oh, services.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. My head's in a different space here. Right?
Yeah. No, friends. Some I told and then just didn't want anything to do with me. I was like, well, you're not my friend then, so screw you, basically.
Yeah.
But the ones that have stuck around, like, we're even closer now because of everything that's happened.
Yeah. But so now I have a better understanding of what you was talking about. So some services were not helpful because you asked for help and you didn't always get it. And of course, we know that services are stretched, but I guess that's the dilemma of people's internal pain, right? When you need the help and you reach out, unfortunately the help isn't always available,
not always there.
You know, and you know, it's difficult to know how to resolve that,
It
isn't
is,
it?
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
But that's a whole...
that's a whole different,
That's a whole other kettle of
We won't
fish.
get into any of that stuff, but you know, only because we have some insight, you know, and you know, we see it from the other side as well. Did you find the reputation of psychosis harmful in any way?
For me, not that I can think of.
No. So I guess I'm kind of thinking, you've developed psychosis, you know you've developed psychosis at that point, and I guess with the, you know, I suppose historically the reputation of psychosis is
not a great thing.
Somewhat like crazy or psycho or something like that, isn't it? You know, I suppose it hasn't evolved massively
since it was first termed
in social media or whatever. So, but that didn't affect you too much.
With everything that was going on, it couldn't get any worse than it was.
Yeah,
I think is what it was. So for me, it didn't.
You feel like you just had enough problems to think about that one.
Yeah, that was nothing compared to everything else that was going on.
Sure.
So
okay.
it was just like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's not on the paper, but I mean, given what you just said, then you feel alone.
At times, very alone.
Because why?
Because even though I could talk to people about what was going on, they've not been through it themselves, so they don't always fully understand what's actually happening in that moment.
How open I mean, and supportive of what you're saying are they? Do you know what I mean? Because I guess we're talking about something that people really, probably, a lot of people couldn't get their head around, right?
Yeah, some people can't get their head around it, so I've explained what's happened in the most simple way possible, and I've left out a lot of the details of what's happened, but they know what's happened and they still support me, whereas other friends know just about everything that's happened. They know what all my symptoms are, and they're still supportive.
Yeah,
but I tailor it to who my friends are and what this is me personally, what I think they can deal with. So it's not asking them what they can deal with, it's me giving them as much as I think they can take, if that makes sense.
I mean, that makes sense, but I suppose, what do you do in a crisis? Like, do you think that they can take some of this load?
Yeah.
You do? Yeah. Oh, that's great.
They've been, like the friends I'm talking about, I've known for 10 plus years, most of them.
Right.
So I'm able to call them at most hours of the day.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Some of them I can call 24/7.
Right.
So I've always got help and support.
Yeah.
If and when I need it, which is really good.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. All right then. Next question. Okay. We kind of talked about friends and family, but did it affect your romantic relationship if you had one? Okay. So let me finish the question. So did it affect your romantic relationship, or do you think the experience will affect any future relationships?
Yes, it probably did affect my romantic relationship.
You had a relationship at the time, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, it probably did affect that.
I'm sure it did. I mean,
more looking back, thinking about it now, it probably did affect it more than I realised at the time. Will it affect future ones? Probably will, for the fact of I'm now quite open and honest about what's happened to me. And I'm gonna be like that when I get into a relationship again. Not at that point at the moment. But if I can't be open and honest with my partner about it, they don't like it, then there's no point in being with them.
Yeah. No, and I agree, but but I also think, would it affect my any future relationships? And I think potentially, absolutely, yes.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? I'm well. I don't even have a diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia, but because I'm open, right? It's not necessarily. I think that I can find somebody that likes me and I like them, and it's not that much of an issue. However, given the nature of my job and what I do, and I'm quite open, it's going to be their friends, their mum and dad.
Yeah, how can everyone else deal with it around them?
You want to go out with this guy that was diagnosed, even if he's not that was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. Yeah. And it's like, so I think for myself, I kind of think
it's a lot for people to take on, and I don't think a lot of the time, unless you explain it to them fully, they're going to understand it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, I'm lucky enough to be well now, so I think people can get, people can see me for who I am now.
Yeah.
But obviously, there'd be no escaping me opening up and sharing that information. Yeah. And I guess I wouldn't want them to keep it a secret from their family and friends. But given what the content and that is, it's like, okay, I reckon that they might tell them to think twice before they went out with me. Yeah. But I mean, I think that's just the way it is.
Yeah, and I think that's also a problem with media and everything that's been said in the past.
Exactly.
About
I think,
psychosis, schizophrenia, all of those sort of things.
Yeah.
I don't think that helps in any way, shape, or form.
Of course it doesn't. Absolutely doesn't. But I guess that's the path we're walking, right?
Yeah.
We kind of like.
That's what we have to live
crowds, but at the same time, you know, there could
in both ways.
There could be, yeah, absolutely. You got a double whammy. Mate. I mean, do you know what I mean? You do you know what I mean? You're a strong man. Do you know what I mean? To
Thank you. I will take that.
Potentially face judgments from
yeah,
you know, small-minded people,
lots of different places.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay then. So I know you are a peer support worker now.
I am, yes.
Anyone that doesn't know what a peer support worker is somebody that has lived experience.
Yeah.
You can be a carer of somebody that's had lived experience, and you draw upon your lived experience to try and give
help other
people, basically. Trying to help other people. I guess given what you've been through, you know, not necessarily just with psychosis, you know, not necessarily with depression and anxiety, but I guess with your sexuality and all sorts of like insights that you've had through your life. So I mean, now I guess that you're giving back and you're helping. What has that given you? I don't know.
Honestly, it feels amazing. This isn't anything I thought I would ever do or get into. It's not something I ever thought about. But now I'm doing this job. I love it.
Yeah.
It's
what
great.
Is it? What is it about it that you love though?
I love the fact that I can go and talk to someone and be in a position that, although I may not have had the same symptoms as that person, I can understand what they're going through.
Yeah.
And being able to do that for someone, being in a room with someone and going, I don't have your symptoms, but I get what you're going through, can be so helpful to someone, and it can make a huge difference to them. Yeah,
and I also think that it's really important to show that recovery is possible.
Yeah.
Of course, recovery, you know, a complete recovery isn't going to be possible for everybody. Okay, but we
recovery in some form.
Yeah, exactly. You can improvement. You can, despite the massive knock that you might have taken, your life can get better. It's not you're not out for the count.
No. Even 3 years ago for me, I didn't think I'd be in the position that I am now.
Yeah. You're everywhere now, aren't you? Right. Okay. Okay then? So getting through these now. I think we've got 3 more questions to go.
Okay.
All right. Are there any other factors along that journey that helped or hindered you? I put psychosis, but let's just say in general, helped or hindered you.
Services, I would say, were a huge help for me. Because they got me out from where I was, which for me was really helpful. Hindered, I would probably say trying to explain to people what I was going through. If I'd got help sooner, I don't think things would have got as bad. So I'd say that was probably a hindrance as well.
Okay. I suppose I was also sort of intrigued to know sort of socially. I guess the way that the world is set up, just in terms of, you know, belonging and fitting in and that sort of thing, you know, I guess when you develop maybe even a mental health condition, but maybe even more so psychosis, where I mean not as many people are talking about it. Does that, I mean, how much does that affect your self-esteem and feeling like you can belong? I don't, it's just a question.
Considering when it was at its worst, I didn't really leave my house for weeks on end. There'd be points where I wouldn't get out of bed because I just sleep 20 hours a day. That wasn't great, and that
you would actually sleep.
Yeah.
Is that because of the medication, or you were so down and fed up, or you just like
down, fed up, medication, couldn't deal with everything that was going on, so sleeping was the
better to be asleep than awake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. Have you got any advice for somebody that has developed psychosis, or for the family, friends, or partners of somebody that has developed psychosis?
For me, I would say be open and honest as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And although it may seem scary, just listen to the person that's going through it,
Mm-hmm.
and try to understand. If you're not understanding it, have a Google.
Mm-hmm.
And things aren't actually always as bad as what they seem they are. And things can get better eventually. It can take time, but things eventually, more than likely, will get better.
And I think, going back to peer support worker, that's one of the beauties of the job.
Yeah.
It is showing people
that things can get better.
Things can get better.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it doesn't mean that you've got the answer or anything like that, but it shows that their lives can move forward and they can get better. It's that, do you know what I mean? It's cheesy to say that message of hope, but and it's difficult to know how to deliver that, right? Because when people are in a really bad place, do you know what I mean? Somebody that's recovered, that might feel even worse. Do you know what I mean? Just like such a contrast, but just demonstrating that recovery is possible. Who knows what's possible for everybody, but at least some examples of recovery.
Yeah,
it's better than no examples of recovery.
And showing that it is possible is a huge help.
Yeah.
Just being able to see that someone's been through it and is now working again. When you're in a place of, will I work again?
Yeah.
Will I have friends?
Yeah.
Will I have a relationship again?
Yeah,
Any of those things.
Absolutely.
At that time, you don't think are going to be possible.
Yeah, potentially.
But our jobs as peer support workers show that this is possible.
Yeah, and also what peer support workers do, because we draw upon lived experience, is we talk openly about it.
Yeah.
And so many times we get so trapped in silence. The peer support worker's role gets to talk openly and not be ashamed and embarrassed about what they've been through. And I think also that's a really important message for people that struggle to open up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
it's a huge thing, and
it is.
There needs to be more of us.
More. It should be everywhere.
Everyone should be able to talk.
You're messing up my background.
Sorry.
Let's see that's not a real background at the minute.
Everyone should be able to talk about mental health and not be stigmatized for it, whatever that mental health issue is, or physical health. None of it should be.
Or any problem whatsoever, right?
They shouldn't be
if we're going through
stigmatised.
something, we should,
try and help
should
people.
be able to open up, and somebody's going to meet us with some support to help us through whatever the problem is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know we're a long way of creating a world like that, but there are a lot of people that do care, isn't there?
There is,
really
yes. Yeah, 100%.
But being trapped in silence, that just, you know what I mean? Things get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, and things get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
But they can get better.
Absolutely.
And
I guess opening
that's the
up
positive message.
is a really important step there, isn't it?
It is. It's not an easy step to go through in any way, shape, or form.
But it's a crucial one.
Yeah. Being able to talk about what's happened does make a huge difference to you.
Somebody needs to know that you're going through some really tough stuff, right?
And actually being able to talk about that yourself is another huge positive step, because you're then actually airing what you're going about, and then you can hear it yourself talk about, which is again positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I think I've got one more question.
Okay.
Do you think that you, having had psychosis or depression or anxiety, do you think that has changed you as a person in any way?
Yeah, I'd probably say it has done. I'd probably say I'm a more kind and caring person than I was before. Not that I wasn't kind and caring before, but I would say I'm now more kind and caring
because
of what I've been through.
Yeah, because I suppose you experienced the pain.
Yeah.
and you know what that feels like, and you don't really forget it, do you?
No.
And
and you want to try and help someone out of that situation.
Opens your understanding up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's one of the beauties that so many people gain from.
Yeah. Just going through something.
Go through, you know. Okay, so that's it.
Yeah.
Well done. That's good. I enjoyed that. So quick fire round. You've been here before, Craig, right?
God.
Okay, so it's a quick fire round. From my memory, you didn't do very well last time.
I did not. No.
So it's quick fire round. I think there's some tricky ones here. We got 10. Right, you ready?
No, but let's go for it.
Start off with a good one. What is the sexiest and least sexiest name you can think of?
Oh.
Quick fire round, Craig.
Yeah, I can't.
No, go on. I want you to answer it. I'll give you a bit of extra time.
Okay. Least sexy women's names, I would say, in general.
Go on.
For me.
Go on.
No, just in general.
Yeah, just in general.
Just because I'm gay. So, you know.
What you're saying? Any women's name is unsexy because of your sexuality?
Yeah. Yeah, let's go with it.
Yeah, it's fine. You can go with that. Go on then. Sexiest? Don't say Terry.
Should I say Terry now?
Yeah, let's stick with that one. Terry. Yeah, it's a good answer. Okay, this is a good one. I was intrigued to ask you this one as well.
Oh, no.
What's the weirdest smell you have ever smelled?
Probably someone coming off a come down.
What?
And
someone coming off a come... Yeah, right.
Like, so being on drugs and then the come down afterwards and the sweat that comes out of them is just a weird smell.
Right. And even on somebody else you're talking about?
Yeah. Someone else or yourself.
Interesting. That's a good reason to not take drugs. The smell afterwards is not good.
It's not.
Okay, what's the funniest joke you know by heart? It doesn't matter if it's not funny, is it? You must
I don't know jokes. I don't know any jokes.
A joke, knock joke or something. I don't. You don't know any
I don't
jokes.
ever tell jokes because I don't think I'm funny.
There's no jokes. No, you are funny. You are. You just know no jokes.
Yeah.
That's all. What kind of secret society would you like to start?
Ooh, secret society. I would like to start a secret society where everyone can be whoever they want to be and no one cares.
Well, that'd get really weird though, wouldn't it?
It would, but it'd be
nobody
fun.
Cares.
Yeah.
Yeah? Is there no societies like that?
There might be. Not that I know of, but there might be.
Wow. What if someone wanted to be like, I don't know, a bicycle?
If they want to be a bicycle, then they can be a bicycle.
That's not a sexual innuendo either. I wasn't meaning that. Let's move on, right? Okay. If animals could talk, which would be the rudest?
I would probably say a whale.
A rudest?
Yeah.
Yeah? Any particular reason, or?
Let's not go into the reasons behind that.
No? Do you have some insights into whales? Okay.
I do not, but they have the biggest
bumhole?
Penis.
Biggest penis?
Don't they?
Oh, right. So you think... yeah?
So
I have no idea.
So a killer whale has a 6-foot penis.
Have you Googled that?
No, it was
like you Googled it.
It was on the David Attenborough TV show years ago.
Good old David Attenborough.
Yeah.
6 foot, eh? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's a good one. Toilet paper. Over or under?
Whichever way it comes out of the bag. I don't care either way.
No, I don't think that's the question. I think what it means is when you wipe your bum, do you do it? Oh no, is it? Oh no, it's hanging the toilet paper on, isn't it? No, do you? Sorry, I got the wrong end of the stick there. No, so when you hang the toilet paper on, is it over the top or is it underneath?
Again, whichever way it comes out of the bag.
So
it doesn't bother me either way.
So I thought, yeah.
Although I do have friends and family come round and change it if it's the wrong way for them.
I think technically what is the technical right way?
So when
I think it's supposed to go over the top because when you pull it, you can rip it.
Yeah, when like the thing that someone does when they put in an invention, that original one says over the top. When it was invented, the person said it goes over the top, not under.
I did actually know 2 people when they wiped their bum, they'd get off the toilet and then wipe their bum off the toilet. You know who you are. It's true. But I discovered this and I was like, what the hell is that?
Why? Because you're just going to close your cheeks. And that makes it harder.
I
would say that makes it harder, not easier.
I didn't want to question their philosophy, but it was funny.
Although it's probably more common than what we realise.
Probably is. I discovered 2 people. 2 people. Anyway, 7. In one word, how would you describe the internet?
Can I use 2?
Mm-hmm.
Fucked up.
Fucked up?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. What is the weirdest thing? It's a good one for you. What is the weirdest thing you have seen in someone's house?
Pink flamingo.
What,
Plastic fluffy pink
Mate,
flamingo.
you can do better than that. I'm sure you can do better than that.
That's the first one that's come to mind.
Okay, alright then. Okay, we'll go with that. quick fire then. What has been some of the funniest nicknames you have had for people? Or just any nicknames I'll do at this stage.
None that I can think of.
Never called anyone a nickname. No?
I'm trying to think now. Probably has been, but not for many years.
Okay, alright, we'll move on. Okay, final one. What's your favourite type of underwear to see on a partner?
Anything that's got a hole in the back. So.
Hole in the back?
What are they called? It's not G-string. I can't remember what they're called now. That's
hole
really
in
bad.
The back?
Yeah, so they have no back, so they have straps around.
Oh, so just no back.
No back, yeah.
Just a hole.
Just a hole in the back.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, well, there you go. 10 quickfire rounds. Thanks again, Craig. You've been awesome.
I did better at this one than I did last time.
Exactly. I think you did do a little bit better. You did. We sidetracked a little bit, but you've done very well. Cheers.
Cheers.